Good afternoon. Welcome back to Richin Live. I'm so excited to be here with you today so that I can teach you a life-changing skill set, mindset, and plan of action. Does that sound fun? Would you like to learn how to escape the rat race, the dreadful 9 to 5, the commute that just eats away at your life? Would you like to escape all that once and for all? Would you like to learn how to earn your income online? Could you imagine never having to commute to a place like an office ever again? What that would feel like? How that could change things for you? Put a 1 in the chat if $10,000 a month remotely would be life-changing for you. Good afternoon. Welcome. Great to see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We're rolling into this one easy today, my friends. There is no rush. We're going to get to all your questions. We're going to cover more than enough, but just enough. No fluff, straight to the heart of it, making things happen. Okay? I'm going to try and put a link in the chat later where you'll be able to join me live with a webcam and microphone to ask your question on this stream. I'm going to try it. Does that sound fun? If not, put your question in the chat and I'll try to get to it by the end. I may not answer it mid-presentation. Share this call with your friends and family. Let them know what's important to you. Let them know times have changed. We don't all have to do the same things anymore. Now, I hope the chat is working. And I hope you can see your chat on screen. Somebody test it out. Let's see if our new overlay is working correctly. I'm just going to get set up once and for all, and we are going to lock in. Well, even if you can't see any chat, we'll figure that out later. The most important thing is we're going to learn something today. And that is precisely how to become a freelance digital marketer. The best path to earning $10,000 a month without a degree or startup capital. Is that what you guys would like to do? Is that your number one goal? Well, you've chosen a great goal. Congratulations. We can see the chat on the screen. Wonderful. Let's get it lit. Let's get it lit. Let's light that chat up. Let's warm it up because we're about to kick this off. Comfy? I think so. You play a critical role in this stream. There's no way I can think of everything to say for this. So when I'm done, it's up to you to fill in the gaps. Okay, let's make this call a memorable one. Oops, I left the stock photo in this. Hope you guys can forgive that. What you're going to learn today, like this young lady right here. Well, what does being a freelance digital marketer mean? What is the most important skills to have? How to deliver good work? How to grow from scratch. Young lady, you're about to learn how to earn $10,000 a month or more completely remotely. You already have an iPad. Looks like you're ready to go. First, let's make a quick comment. Why would you bother with digital marketing? Well, first of all, I have a great video called 11 Reasons Why You Should Consider Digital Marketing. That's a great video. It's on my channel. Check that out. But the most obvious reasons are it's low barrier to entry. It's never been more viable to make this happen, no matter where you are in the world. It's never been more viable. Because of the power of smartphones, laptops, iPads, the cloud computing interfaces, it's just never been more viable. Marketing is in demand and it is growing. Don't underestimate the power of joining a growing industry. Accounting is not growing. Law is not growing. Medicine is not growing. Watch out for AI. Make sure you know what industries are going to see more growth versus others. Which brings us to number 3, the future-proof nature of being a marketer. Yes, it's more dynamic and somewhat challenging. Yes, you have to keep your finger on the pulse, but that's what makes it a great job. That's what makes it a wonderful career, is it's fresh. Very rare you're doing the same things year to year, okay? Who am I? Why would you listen to me? Jeez. Why spend 90 minutes of your life listening to some rando? My name is Richie X, and I have a lifetime of making content. Actually, I started making content and selling it when I was just 16 years old. I had this really funny job I did. My sister was a horseback rider. She liked to go over those jumps on her horse. I don't care about that stuff. She did. I would tag along and I would take advantage of all the rich people riding their horses and jumping over these poles. And I would take a picture of them. I bought a Canon L lens, $2,000 or $1,500. I can't remember. It was extremely a lot at the time. But I could take long range shots, photographs of them at high speed. And this was very uncommon in this year. This would be like year 2000 or something. And I brought a printer and I was printing them on the spot. So I was already at a young age connecting this idea of content, monetization, marketing, promotion. I was tapping in, okay? Now, the last job I had was almost 10 years ago. I have not answered to a boss. And since then, I've made a lot more money. I've had 2 children. I've been able to purchase a 1-acre property in British Columbia. Those were all great challenges. And honestly, I'm not sure I could have done them if I just had a job. I'm not sure. And, you know, the fact is I started all the way from the bottom. I had absolutely nothing, just debt, just uncertainty. The same things that everyone goes through, you know, when they're not being backed up by either venture capitalism or, you know, family money. Not to say that my dad couldn't help me if I needed it. He certainly would. But that wasn't really the situation I found myself in. I wanted to solve the problem for myself, you know? And as you'll hear a little bit later, I've earned all the way up to $10,000 a month from a single client. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to do that today. I'm going to probably teach you how to do it with 3 or 4 clients, something a little bit more straightforward. But it's absolutely possible because we're in this era where all these big businesses still have not understood digital marketing. And in fact, I was just saying to my private community this week, I believe we're entering the final 50% that finally they're capitulating and going into digital marketing after withholding and resisting for many, many years, saying, we don't need it. We're doing well without it. We don't need it. Ooh, what's this? Coming soon, my friends. my new ebook, The One Person Marketing Agency, the blueprint for a sustainable, remote capable, one-person digital marketing agency, which is really the evolution of the freelancer. When you start out as freelancing, you don't have to be a one-person marketing agency. You can be a freelancer who just does one thing. You can make your way with that. But if you develop a full stack of skills we're going to talk about today, it's very likely that you can play the entire role of the marketing department. Now, does that sound scary? Does that sound daunting? Well, the exciting news is that things have gotten easier than ever. And I think it's very viable and possible. And there's a good reason why people would pay money for this, is they'd much rather work with one person than 3 or 4 separate people. Okay, so the one-person marketing agency is a more refined understanding of what freelance marketing is, and I invite you all to read this ebook when it comes out. Okay, just so you know, here's some screenshots of money I've made. I don't like to share a lot of these. I don't promote a lot of this. I've dabbled and considered it, sharing it and stuff, but I don't think people need that from me anymore. I think they know that I've been in the game. The right side, you can see the client who is paying me over $10,000 a month for like a year. And in the middle, you can see one of my clients paying me between $2,000 and $4,000 every month. What I preach and practice is subscription model, right? So you want to get paid over and over. You don't want to keep finding new clients. That's why this is kind of more viable than not, right? Like you could become a great tattoo artist, right? People don't get tattoos every month, right? You could be a great installer of pools. People don't buy a pool every month, So you do want to think about your strategy, because sometimes it's hard to find clients, right? Depending on where you are, depending who you are, how old you are, right? On the bottom is a screenshot from my own business, Richin Academy. We've done over $500,000 in sales. We've had over 2,000 customers, and we're an organic-oriented business. We don't really worry about ads too much. Like to go for the organic style, community-based growth, but don't be surprised if you see an ad from me now and then. All right, let's slow down here and let's talk this through. What does being a freelance digital marketer even mean? I mean, maybe you've never heard of such a concept, right? I don't know. What do you think it means? Love to hear from you in the chat. If you could summarize it in a single sentence, some freelancers probably in there. Tell us, what does it mean to you? Well, I'm going to get into the whiteboard a little later. So for this one, I'll just kind of tell you what I think it means. Freelance marketers are tasked with helping businesses, brands, influencers bring their products and service to the world and marketplace. And this is typically done through websites and social platforms. Okay, that's really what it kind of comes down to. You do a lot of things related to awareness. You drive conversions. You engage loyal customers. A lot of what you do is content related, which is what makes this a wonderful job. Content's a fun place to be. I'm sure a lot of younger people, older millennials and beyond, said, wish I could have been in the TV industry. Well, lucky you. Here's your chance. Freelance marketers probably know quite a bit about customers and what that means, how to create them, how do funnels interact with customers and the customer journey. And in fact, I think if you can become an expert at understanding the customer journey, you might be exactly a freelance marketer. Freelance marketer certainly knows more than the average entry-level marketer. And the ones that I see as the most successful are one of two things. Highly, highly specialized with 10,000 hours of experience, or highly generalized, capable of solving any problem and saving immense amounts of time and management. Give you some time to think about this, and if you have any questions, I'll try to take a peek at the chat right now. You're currently doing an internship with a vegan startup. It's great to do internships. It's great to get as much experience as possible as a freelance marketer, because with just 2 to 3 to 4 projects under your belt, guess what? You enter the top 10% of the game. With 10 projects under your belt, you enter the top 5% of the game. And with just 20 marketing related projects under your belt, you will enter the top 1% of skilled marketers. See, marketing is much more like playing a game. And the more times you play, the better you get. You guys play board games? Settlers of Catan, Monopoly, my kid's favorite, Trouble. Once you play a game just a few times, you know, don't do that again. The winning strategy is finally clear to me. So, getting your hands on anybody's content, anybody's ads, anybody's funnel, big win. And we're going to talk about some of the phases as a digital marketer later on, and you'll find that getting your client experience, your apprenticeship, highly valuable. The most important skills to have. If you see my recent video, how to get out of the rat race, I'm sure I was talking about skills there, and how skills are basically little businesses and skills are different than jobs. You can go watch that video if you're interested in that one. But hopefully by now you recognize why skills are valuable. They can't be taken from you. No one can take away your ability to know how to edit videos. No one can take away your ability to write copy. So that's why it's a good investment. Some people invest 10 years of their life into a job, and they may get some severance, but they will still have to do some sort of starting again. Now, hopefully they gain some skills in that job, but it's quite possible that you didn't. A lot of jobs are about following a process that already exists. And that's why it's a dangerous time, because if your job can be written down, you can be automated. You want a job that can't easily be written down. And marketing is certainly one that enters that realm because it's complex. It has layers. It has to do with humans. It has to do with platforms. It has to do with speed, money, business, quarterlies, profits. There's plenty to consider. So once you know about skills, you're probably on the right track. I think a lot of people do not recognize that there's an opportunity to learn a skill, particularly a higher income skill, and turn that skill into a solution to remove themselves from 9-to-5 oriented job-based work. I think that's a big discovery for a lot of people. I hope most of you have made that one already, but some people, they don't. And so that's why they don't really think that they're wasting time ever, because they didn't realize that they should be trying to do that. And hey, it's not for everyone, right? So should we jump into the whiteboard and just quickly talk about some skills? Let's do it. There's 3 pillar skills of digital marketing. Funnels. I'll break it down in a moment. Content. Ads. Okay. I've been looking at these skills for 10 years almost. I don't know. And, not just these three, many others. But I noticed that it kind of comes back to these. There's tangential skills around here for sure, such as copy. It's a great one. It really goes for both. But I believe copy is within those realms. You don't need copy. You need a funnel. You don't need copy. You need an ad. Okay, now that I need an ad, now I need copy. Do you see how it's a secondary thing? Same with kind of content. Sometimes content is like the secondary need of the ad itself. But these three ideas. So for me, this is like websites, anything to do with websites. Funnels happen on websites, right? Funnels are user experiences, customer journeys. Websites are a function of understanding that the funnel or the customer journey is very important. When it comes to content, I think that there's a lot to content. It's a very big world, but that's a great word. So it might be things like media or the four mediums, text, images, videos, and audios. You want to master that. Media will find its way into ads and funnels. It's really a trifecta, but these are the pillars. And I think what you want to remember is that clients need these things to win. They can't win without these things. And that's why it's a good strategy, right? You want to do things that people are in demand. And have you noticed the trend of rising interest around online platforms? Have you noticed the rising trend of people purchasing things online? I mean, it's just 10 years old, right? It's 2023. Facebook just came in 2008. They were barely a marketplace by then. And I'm talking like 2014, 2013. These things were just emerging still. They were babies, and even still they really are. Right? But if I'm e-commerce and I want to sell something, I need to set up a funnel and then decide, do I want to make content or run ads or both, right? If I'm Gucci, well, I'm probably not too worried about funnels, but I'm definitely thinking about how does my brand exist in a Gen Z world that happens in a smartphone and Apple Vision Pro? Will billboards be what they once were? Will shopping on Rodeo Drive be what it once was? Will fashion shows exist in the same way? They've got to think about these things. Okay. And honestly, they do think about funnels, but not quite what we think about. What if you're junk removal company and you just work locally and you've got like 6 trucks, or even you're got junk, you're a big junk removal company, right? Like absolutely all these things play a role. Upsells, right? How do people find out about you? Targeted Google ads, regional Facebook ads, local humorous content to get your brand noticed, little contests, right? That's all media marketing, messaging, okay? These things work hand in hand, and the freelance digital marketer is capturing them all. Go back 20 years, okay? This is a web developer who barely understands marketing, so he's building the wrong things. Enter ClickFunnels. This is a photographer who doesn't really know how to story tell, or this is a $5,000 a day video producer who makes the most boring video for you, doesn't understand the modern content lens. This is buying newspaper ads and billboards and buses and bench ads. Like, there was no way one person would be entering all this. But if you go look at jobs right now, and freelancing is a reflection of the jobs available to some degree, you're going to see these two things are starting to combine very quickly. It's called paid social. It's not even separate anymore. They want the content creators to know how to amplify their content with paid media, buying ads. They want their advertisers to know how to make content. Why? Because I think time is really all that matters. And I think that you should focus on selling time, in fact. I think the freelancer is a problem solver and a time saver. I'm not sure you need to go down this path of, hey, I will get you 1,000 leads this month, or I'll 10x your business. I don't think you need to go that route. I think more people actually want to just save time. I think we're all out of time. I think inflation is a time eater. As the inflation increases, your dollar's worth less, you're working for less, you suddenly have to work more in less time to earn the same amount of money, right? So time is an incredibly wonderful thing to offer people back. And as a freelance marketer, at a consultant level, if possible, you're going to be a right-hand man, you're going to be a high-level thinker, you're going to be a trusted partner. Okay? So, those are some of the initial skills that I would want you to think about. Getting better with handling websites, getting better with developing videos, pictures, and writing, understanding how to use words to persuade people to take action or to stop and consider an idea. How do you tell me this isn't fun? How do you tell me this isn't just a game? You're going to love this game. How to deliver good work. That's a good question. Where's the chat? Get the chat lit up. Where your questions at? Stay engaged. Engagement is more important than consumption. It's better that you ask one pointed question and leave the stream than just passively listen to it while you're folding the laundry or chopping potatoes. I mean, I like fries too. Someone's got to chop the potatoes, but we got to take action, you know what I'm saying? How do you deliver good work? I think like there's this daunting idea that if you become a freelancer, you're going to have to be responsible for everything. And that's absolutely the beauty of it, right? So we can break this down into something really exciting, I think. And I think that, you know, people like to hear me talk about that. What is good work, first of all? Well, it either saves time or it makes money, right? Is there anything else? I mean, it can bring more customers, but then that would be making more money. So in our community, we are positive fans of Alex Hormozi. We're not negative for sure, but we don't overconsume because, you know, Hormozi is quite far ahead. Got to make sure that you're listening to the right people. But he does do a pretty good job of simplifying things. And one thing we take away, especially for freelancers, is the value equation, right? So V for value. V for value. What is value? Well, we're going to break it down, but value is what people buy, right? People get value out of improving their business. People get value out of losing weight. People get value out of having a delicious meal. People get value from entertainment, right? There's all sorts of ways to get value. In our business as freelance marketers, value is going to come in the form of reducing the time someone has to spend to do something. Therefore, they can go do higher end things. And you really got to get that in your mind, right? That wealthier people don't want to do what you're doing because they can actually do something where they can make more money than what they're paying you to do. And sometimes it might not feel what it is, but the very fact that the project they hire you for, or whatever the work they hire you for, it can be off mind is incredible. You know, and the more powerful of a freelancer you are is going to mean that you are capable of not being micromanaged. And that's really what people like to see, you know? So, bringing it back to value. The interesting thing about the value equation is there's a top and a bottom. And I think people always get this wrong, you know, and what is good work? It doesn't mean big project. Okay. It doesn't mean big project. The first side of the equation says desired outcome. I know I didn't write that very good, but let's just fill it out, okay? Time, and what's the other one? Effort and sacrifice. Okay. Value is a function of getting what you want multiplied by the risk you actually get it, because sometimes marketing doesn't work, right? How long it takes, time, how much effort and sacrifice the client has to put in. So let's say you want to help them grow their following on Instagram, but they have to spend 3 hours a day. That's not that valuable. Versus they can just click one button and it's a lot cheaper. That could be a lot more valuable. So the number one mistake that most freelancers don't clue in on is getting the denominator of the equation to zero. Okay, getting the denominator in the equation to zero. And that makes value infinite, right? If we have 1 over 0 or 20 over, let's say 1, or even 100 over 4, you can see that when the denominator is low, value is high. Right? And in this case, when denominator is 0, value is infinite because this is actually undefined. But it's impossible almost for the denominator to be 0. But that's the idea, is that instead of focusing so much on getting people crazy outcomes, get people certain short-term outcomes often that don't take a lot of time or effort. If you can figure out how to do that, you're going to be offering a lot of value, and you could say that that is good work. Okay, I mean, I don't know how else you want to define good work. Good work could also be fast, simply just fast, you know, mistake-free, you know, as far as what your designs are, what your copying is. It all falls into here. Like, what do you need to do to get the result you want? And so the problem, I think, for a lot of freelance marketers is deciding what should we do exactly to help people? Should we get them more traffic? Should we get them more leads? Should we help them get conversions? Well, you can do them all. Absolutely, you can. And I think that's the power of the one-person marketing agency, is to get control of that entire customer journey. But I also think for a lot of new people, you might want to just focus on one thing for a while. And I have lately been telling people, you know, have your one-person marketing agency subscription price ready to go, whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month. But also work to develop some unique offers yourself, whether it be like some sort of content sprint, whether it be a brand new lead magnet funnel, whether it be a quiz funnel, whether it be a VSL or a special video, you know. Those types of offers can get certain people excited, which would then get them to know about your subscription model. So instead of getting married right away, try to go on one date. Okay, this is a bit complicated for some people. Not everyone's ready to understand value. You know, you've heard maybe in the last 10 years, bring value, bring value. What does that mean? People didn't know. And then a lot of times people would say, oh, it just means like making content that's really useful. And that is true. But when you're in a service, you don't just make content. You actually have to create value. If you want to be paid month after month, you want to create value month after month. So, you know, even if you don't think about this equation as a one-time offer or one-time product or service, let's think about this equation as, why would my client stay with me? Because I'm bringing value. Why? Let me read it, slow it down for you. Why will clients stay with me? Because I bring them value. How do I get that to happen? Well, save them tons of time, reduce all their effort and sacrifices, do things that are low risk, and as much as you can, work towards the outcome. Okay? The good news about marketing, I would say, is that, you know, the outcome, it's on a spectrum. And as long as it's going in a positive route, you're probably going to feel like you're bringing value. But if you're slow, if you require a lot of help from your client, if you're risky, of course, you really have to nail the desired outcome. I think that the idea is to put less emphasis on the outcome and more emphasis on time savings. Now, before I go on, I want to mention a few more skills that I didn't bring up earlier that you might be thinking about. And this will help you deliver good work. And that's what I call gravitas. Okay, let's talk about gravitas on the other camera. Is it working still? It is. Is it in focus? Am I in focus? Okay, sweet. Let's talk about gravitas just quickly. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but gravitas is a set of skills plus EQ plus communication. It's not easy to explain. It's sort of what you develop as a professional. How am I looking? Good? Yeah, I think it's all right. And so for me, after I got into freelancing, I developed my gravitas and I became better at everything. I said, everything's a presentation. How do I make my YouTube videos better? How do I make my Zoom calls better? How do I make my work better? How does everything present better, right? You know, so just thinking that way. And, you know, I developed a lot of strong, what I would call client communication skills. And I think that's one of the things that I've provided that I don't think very many other people in this planet have tried. Or can. You know, if you join my products, you can listen to my actual client calls, which is pretty unique. And I think you'll see there that you have to develop a bit of a professional range that includes like advisory, that includes question asking, but also includes boundary setting and vision and, you know, all these things, right? Consulting and just the complexities of business. So I think that that is something you don't need as a freelancer, but will very quickly set you apart if you can be thinking that way and say, okay, look, I'm not going to master this. This takes a lifetime to become great, but I'm going to be aware that paying attention to how I present, paying attention to how I ask questions, paying attention to how I speak, it's all very important. And that if we want to get a lot more confidence, if we want to get a lot more authority, that these things are going to be as important as well. So, you know, maybe I haven't said it in this stream, but building skills creates what's called competence. You can competently build a website. You can competently edit a video. You can competently write a landing page copy, right? When you can competently do something, you will naturally have confidence. So people are like, how do you get confident? How do I build confidence? Well, you build your competence. And that's why we say skills, skills, skills. Once you have those skills, you're kind of matching 10% of other people. If you want to be up to the top 1%, then it's all about professionalism. Because believe it or not, even you want to work remotely, even you don't want to have an office, you want to be a one-person agency, you still must be a professional. And that doesn't mean being strict and flat and boring. It just means that people understand that they're safe working with you, that the way you do things, that even if things aren't going well, the way you communicate, the way you handle them, It's going to be an important thing. I'd say on top of that, adding in personal discipline, that's going to be important. Raising your standards, that's part of becoming a freelancer. And I'm going to get into the mindset of a freelancer in a little bit. So yeah, I'd say that that's a little bit better picture of what it's going to take if you are at absolute zero today and you want to become a digital marketing hero one day. Yeah, the 3 pillar skills, which is going to be a quest in its own right, a journey, as I like to say. To learn funnels is multifaceted. You're going to read a couple books. You're going to want to build a couple sites and pages. You're going to learn a couple tools, watch some courses. It's not just a one night thing, Okay. How to grow from scratch? What a great question. How to grow from scratch? Well, even I get stumped on that one, because you don't really want to be at scratch. You want to have built a couple things. Like maybe you already built one social media page. Maybe you built your own website. Maybe you've been blogging for a couple of years. Maybe you learned how to edit videos and you've been doing videos somewhere. I mean, that even singular thing, if it's your ikigai, if it's something you really like doing, that is going to be a great seed in your career. If you are currently, let's say, like working an office job in higher education, or, maybe a college, or maybe you're working at like library or something like that, or maybe you work insurance, accounting, and you're like, I want a more future-proof world, a career. I would say that you cannot progress without being an avid learner. You first have to say, I want to learn, and that I don't know what I need to know, and I'm willing to learn. I think that's very, very important, because I think it's going to be a bit of a long journey. Okay, so let's take this question to more of a client growth perspective than, say, skills. Let's say you're willing to learn. Let's say you're willing to invest in some courses. Let's say you're willing to ask questions for 6 months. I think you're going to do just fine. You should think about the long run, because what is the biggest mistake is doing things that help you grow in the very short term only, and are not thinking about who you're going to be in the long run. And I think when you don't know who you're going to be in the long run, it becomes difficult to know what's the right thing to do. But I'll tell you, the best thing about being a freelance marketer is probably that you only need 3 clients to be living a completely different lifestyle. And that's great. If you needed 50, it's a whole different thing. So I would say, you have to be quite scrappy in the beginning. Like when I was first coming up, this is what I would do. I would go on Craigslist and scan all the part-time gigs and all the related media gigs. I would apply to jobs, which were mostly gigs on Craigslist. Like not a lot of people hire full-time on Craigslist. They'd be like looking for a video editor, and they would quote some pretty low budget. But I would still try and like turn those into clients. I would go on Instagram and DM people. I was like DMing like real estate agents or whoever I thought would like be interested in content and branding. But most people, including myself, that have been successful in our community say, once I got my first 2 or 3 clients, I got quite a lot of word of mouth. So I think that helps you see that one of the key initial strategies is to make people share their experience they had with you. And the great news about freelance marketers is there's so few of them, people would often mention it versus like a VA, right? No one's going to go to their friend, oh my God, you're not going to believe about this VA I hired. I mean, they might. They might actually. Definitely would love your questions about growth. I feel like it is hard to give a general understanding of growth when there's no context. But like I said, scrappy, just getting those few clients, doing a good job, might even be pro bono, right? It might be like, how do I just get a few practice clients? And definitely I recommend that. And I think that, again, that experience is going to be something so valuable. But I'll look for your questions to add context, because I really think that based on your age, based on your skills, your strengths, there's a lot of different ways. I would hate to give you some wrong advice. Okay, it's a little bit too broad, I think. You have to be very careful with the advice you take these days. Okay, I hear all the time. I tell someone something, and then I observe what they do. I'll be like, oh, that's very interesting. They did that. And they'll say, oh yeah, I was talking to someone else. And I say, okay. Well, be careful. Be careful if you're talking to too many people. Let's get into something a little bit more interesting for people, which is mindset. You know, here's the 4 mindsets I think you need to work on. 4 ideas, 4 concepts. 1, ikigai. If you're not doing what you like, you have no chance, because you're going up against people who are doing what they like. How can you beat that? How can you beat that? The good news about it is that digital marketing facilitates many people's ikigai. It has a lot of formats that you can utilize. If you ask yourself, like, what will people pay for? They'll certainly pay you to help them with marketing and help them grow their business. Definitely think that you can enjoy this kind of work. And I definitely think that people need it. You know, and I think if you do a good, high moral, high ethical approach to your career, you know, you can feel good about that. Because certainly there's people in marketing who don't approach it with morals or ethics. Number 2 is money. I mean, you have to learn how to make money. You know, you have to learn how to make offers. You have to get comfortable with making money. There's just no way about it. I mean, that's why you became a freelancer, is to deal directly with the money. You don't want to be a cog in someone else's money machine. You want to build the money machine, right? So you got to get in line with that. And basically what happens in life is people take on the ideas of their parents or people who raised them, right? So a lot of our parents come from times where money was less abundant. Things were not as viable as they are today. And so they don't see money as something that you can get with ease. But there's trillions of dollars in the system, and trust me, you can get 0.0000001% of that, okay? So you need to start knowing that and living that and approaching money in a new way and spending your money much more aggressively. If you think you're going to earn money and then never spend it and just hoard it, it also doesn't work, because money is a currency. It flows, okay? The next thing is time. Right? If you don't understand how to manage time, the value of time, you don't know how to prioritize your time, it's just an uphill battle. So you have to fix that. You have to get close to time. Time is the only true scarce resource, okay? Besides Bitcoin. Number 4, you have to learn how to take risks. You have to understand that if you don't take a risk, you will get consumed by the economy because of inflation. You know, like, you can't just put money in an account and save it and call it a day. You have to analyze risk. You have to be willing to lose sometimes in order to get a bigger reward. And many people, including myself, should be asking, should I do this that could lead me to a 10x result, but fails 20% of the time? Or should I go for the 100x, but I fail 90% of the time? That's a very interesting question, my friends. And so your mind has to learn to be a lot more malleable than you once have been. You need to do a lot of learning. You need to spend a lot of time with people who have what you want and can help you get what you want. The Richin methodology, your digital marketing journey starts here. What is the Richin methodology? That's a great question. I mean, we are a vast business in a sense that by covering entrepreneurship, business, and this high income skill called digital marketing, there's a lot of things to cover. It's not the same as if you went to learn how to do like one little skill, like how to make pots out of clay, or how to do oil painting, or how to rock climb. Like, you have to be multidimensional here, you know? But we have a unique approach to success. And I think I should spend some time sort of talking about that. Let's see if I have any notes about it. So I think that we start off the Richin methodology about saying there are 4 income sources. Okay? 4 income sources. Service. Digital products, affiliate marketing, AdSense, or any variation of that. AdSense is when you get paid because someone watched your video. These 4 income sources make freelancing a lot more fun and viable, because if you just have to rely on your service, you could go cold. You know, the market could go cold. You would lose control. You wouldn't no longer necessarily have the power, the leverage, the money, the cash flow, right? And that's just the way the world is. It's volatile at times, right? And I think we've seen that in the last decade, is that things can shift, money can change, the value of money can change, the value of time can change. So how do we protect ourselves against that? Because I think this isn't a course about how to be a marketer. It's how to be a freelance marketer. And that means you're all by yourself. And this is a harder question to answer, right? And so we recommend that you turn your SOP. Okay, you know what an SOP is? It's what you do for your clients. Let's say they say, I want a video. Well, you're going to follow a checklist, right? You're not just going to figure it out on the spot as a freelancer. You're going to have a framework that you follow, right? So those SOPs can somehow be digital products, right? Whether you offer a checklist for a very small amount, even just a lead, whether you show a full video course explaining how you do it, whether you give a bunch of samples or templates, you see, what the services we offer, we ought to turn them into some sort of documented product, right? And essentially I've done the same with full stack marketing funnels, content maximizer, full stack Facebook ads. Those are just my process to get you to the desired outcome that we talked about. And if I have a great process, you're going to get there the fastest, with the least effort and sacrifice and the least likelihood of failure. So if you think you're really good at some of these services, turn it into an Etsy template, turn it into a video online course. You can even do an audio course or a text-based course. You do not have to get into video. Affiliate marketing, that's a great one. Talked about in my newsletter a while back that a lot of marketers struggle because they start with affiliate marketing. But remember what I was talking about, your ikigai. Sometimes as affiliate marketers, we're so hungry to make money, we'll just sell anything. This fat loss product, this dating product, this virus app, antivirus. We don't love any of those products. And so it becomes a bit of a burnout process. Like you don't have the desire and energy to go super deep with it, right? So affiliate marketing should be added in. And I think what's great is that there's a lot of tools that we will use with our clients that we can receive a percentage if we recommend it to them. And so I believe in only promoting products that you really like using. And I hope if you've been following my channel, you know that I do that. Don't do a lot of affiliate marketing. Very cautious around it. But it doesn't mean I haven't made quite a lot of money on affiliate marketing. I've been very selective. And my favorite affiliate marketing products are SaaS-based products with recurring fees. I think that makes a lot of sense, that if you are going to promote something, that it has an opportunity to make you money on a recurring basis. Now, if you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, you might as well do this. Make a video of your SOPs that promotes your digital products, that promotes the tools that you like. You're going to get a little amount. And if you're a good marketer, you should dabble in YouTube. You should dabble in TikTok. You should dabble in X. You should try these things because those are the playing field. You're a player and that's the field. The field's not in your head. You aren't playing in your head. Technically, you're not even practicing. You're thinking, which is a nice way to start. Not going to get you that far. So we don't really at Rich and Niche say there's only one proven method and there's only one way. Because if we're going to be ikigai oriented, where we say, look, every person's different. Each person's going to be different about what they're good at and what they like. We say learn a full stack of skills, develop your favorites, understand what you're the best at, maybe lean into that. But don't forget that you have different avenues to success. All of these can become singular successes. Why are they here? Why is there four? Why these four? I mean, you want to get into service, but how long will it take you to find a client? Your first client could take 3 to 6 to 12 months because you're lacking something somewhere, right? So we want you to be able to train up and enter some of these other things. And we want you to be future-proof, resilient, solid as things shift and change. Because I think that you can't get into something future-proof if it never changes, right? Like it will just be non-existent after a while, right? No one cares about editing movies by cutting up film anymore. It's just gone. But if I have to learn how to edit a video on TikTok and edit a video for YouTube and edit a live stream, fine, I'll keep learning those things. At least I can stay in the game, keep playing. Okay, so the first part of the methodology that the Rich and Niche community approaches is full stack is the best way. 4 income sources are available. And now what you just heard earlier is we're moving into this one-person marketing agency concept that's a subscription-based model where you offer a menu of services so you can take advantage of the full stack and your clients can choose what they need one at a time. And that allows your clients to have a one-stop shop, single point of focus, single point of contact. They do seem to like that. Let me give you some quick mistakes I've made as a freelancer that you can avoid. Okay. Number one is every new client should pay equal to or more than the last one, assuming you still have the previous client. So if you have no clients, you might have to drop your price. But if you got one client and they're paying you $500 a month, your next client must pay $500 or more, and ideally more, a lot more. And that was the mistake I made, is that after I got 3 clients, instead of pushing myself to go bigger or have a standard, I allowed myself just to take more clients at different rates because that's what they could afford. And I tailored a package for them, which caused me to have to do more things as well and do things differently. So I don't think that's the best way, but I think that's how you have to do it if you really want to earn money quickly. You have to be variable. But if you're going strong, things are going well, I would try to abide by this. Okay. And the number one is don't spend your money based on your biggest client. Spend based on your average or lowest client. Okay. So don't be changing your lifestyle just because you got a big client. And for me, it was difficult, right? I had $2,000 client, $5,000 client, suddenly at $10,000, like almost more than all the other clients. I ended up buying my house, and now today I feel slightly more challenged than I want to feel because of how things have shifted. Maybe I wouldn't have bought this house, if I had based it on this rule. So I don't think I made a lot of mistakes, and I think that's somehow how I made it. Okay, you can't make tons of mistakes along the way. I mean, you can make some, sure, but you cannot continuously make them. The winners will make the least mistakes. You have to realize that. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but this is a competitive world. So don't think about making mistakes. Think about being awesome. Think about being studious, competitive, determined. Okay, you guys are gonna like this one. What was my secret hack? My number one advantage. Are you ready for it? My unfair advantage was that I was lazy and addicted to video games. Anyone else out there a little lazy and addicted to video games? Don't worry. It can be turned into a secret power. And I'll tell you why. When you're lazy, you will learn to do things smarter than everyone else. You will not take the long way. You will find a shortcut. And that's what digital marketing automation is. When you can realize, hey, I can just automate this, you are unlocking something incredible. Automation that does just 30 seconds a day, it adds up into incredible amounts of time over 5 years. And if you can find 50 automations a year, you will wonder what you were doing before, and things will just be easier. And I believe digital marketing and freelancers are going to master this area of life, that they don't want to do it the long way. They want to find the fastest way, and speed is so valuable. I'm not saying do poor work. We're not talking about designing a logo here. We're talking about how do we send the lead data to the platform? How do we clean this data? How do we proofread the blog post for spelling errors? You see what I'm saying? Like, all these things are automatable now. And I think that if you have that inside you, you're going to really discover that digital marketing is perfect for lazy people. Okay. So don't think that I was born productive. I wasn't. I became productive because I became addicted to this new video game. And I decided that it was more fun to play this game, or equally as fun as some of the other games I've enjoyed in my life. Digital marketing isn't that far off from a video game. There's scores, there's a competition, there's a playing field, there are rules, there are tools, there are secrets. Maybe even cheat codes, some would say. You can play to win, you can pay to win. We can compare how many followers, how many views, how many dollars. You can compare your last game. Every day can be a new game. Let's do something. So let me tell you even more about digital marketing being a video game. I know you guys are going to love this. Anybody here watch The Price is Right? What game is this? Who can tell me what game this is? What's the name of that game? Price is Right. This is what digital marketing is, okay? You buy an ad and you have an offer, okay? Here's your offer. And you're gonna send it down the Plinko board. It's called Plinko. And this disc is gonna go through these little slots and it's gonna land in one of these. But sometimes it lands in 0, right? So those are your ads that don't work. And this is your ad that does work. And what digital marketing is all about is putting in the guardrails to Plinko so that we convert at a higher rate and we have the bad results less often. So the first time I run the ad, of course, it's quite random. The first time I post on TikTok, who knows what's going to happen? But slowly but surely, I learn the different best practices that make the game easy to win and that you can win with any team you play on. See, there's a lot of people out there running their business, right? They're making offers, they're running ads, but the marketer helps them with this stuff, right? They don't know how to build these guardrails. They keep getting zeros, right? So I think digital marketing is very much like Plinko, because when you first run an ad, you actually don't know if it's going to work. And that's why new modern marketing is so much better, because when you ran an old billboard ad, you had to make sure it was as good as it can be. And then you didn't even know, right? Like you had no idea. It was hard to track and you had to just roll with it. So that actually led to more boring marketing. When you can test something for like 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, you get to find some pretty edgy stuff that you would never find, that if you had to commit like to a newspaper ad for $10,000, you're just going to make it straightforward, right? You don't get any test variations, right? So if you love video games, if you're addicted to video games like I've been, if you are playing video games most of your life, dopamine addiction, needing to play games every day, needing to beat your level, I've done that and I love that. And I love those games and I cherish my youth that taught me all these games. And now I'm just graduating to sort of a new game. And that game is just this online business stuff, you know? And like I said earlier in this call, I got to play with more people than you. 8 years ago, I was asking people, hey, can I play on your Facebook ads team? Can I play your Facebook ad game? Can I play your YouTube channel game? Like I was playing for them. They passed me the controller. So I did the upload. I did the buy. I did the test. So my hands received the experience because they didn't want it for whatever reason. They don't think they need it. That's fine. Hopefully they're much wealthier. They never have to learn it. Good for them. But what they don't understand is that if you learn this, you might see the world in a different way, right? You might be able to see things differently if you understood this particular game. Look, guys, we're coming to the end of this call. I've given you a lot. I can't wait for your questions to fill in some of the gaps on how to become a better freelancer. Look, all you have to do is take this stuff really seriously. Stop with all the nonsense. Stop with all the nonsense. Give yourself maximum 2 hours a day of nonsense. First thing, last thing, I don't care. Limit the nonsense. For the rest of the time, when you're getting serious, engage. Don't just consume, okay? You can't learn how to play a game just by watching. You have to get into it. And you have to say, look, this is going to be a hard game at first. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm wandering around here like an idiot. It only takes 20 games and you're like the best. And that's what's so crazy about this. If you want to become a professional athlete, actress, musician, you're up against people who are going to practice 24 hours a day. This game, no one's playing it. This game, pretty easy to learn. This game, life-changing. This game can help you get a legacy. This game can be passed on to your children, and it can be reapplied in any other form, meaning you use digital marketing to become a freelancer. They used digital marketing to start a community, or they used digital marketing to change the world in some other shape or form, right? So you'll be able to pass on this knowledge that you're learning about how does a business communicate in the world in 2024. And then you realize, aha, I'm a freelance marketer. So you should join the Richin Academy because it's designed for freelance marketers. And I believe it's the only one of its kind. There's people who will teach you how to run a Google ad. There's people who will teach you how to make a funnel. Okay, those are all important. I teach those things too, but I also want you to learn how to become a professional, how to manage your own business. And that's going to take you time. Okay, and that's why you want to get into a community and an academy where you can simmer and incubate. And you need to narrow your sources of info. Stop listening to every YouTuber out there. If you want to listen to me, I have 100 plus videos for you to spend on the next 6 months, plus 11 online courses and a new masterclass I put out every single month. I provide more than enough. You supplement our content with maybe a little bit more of whatever else you're really looking to learn. I think you'll be fine, but you should not be following 100 different influencers. You need to turn that off because that's distracting you. You're just going about your day and suddenly someone's like, and this is how I made 80,000 drop shipping last month. And then they didn't even tell you that there's no profits. It's a one-time campaign. It's a collaboration. Like they don't tell you all the things and you're just distracted suddenly. Big mistake there. Okay, so don't listen to too many people. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. We're well over my aimed time and I haven't even heard from some of you. So I'm gonna take a slight breather here while you get your questions. It's your turn to help me fill in today's free course by filling in the gaps. And now what I'm going to do is try and find the link for the collaboration thingy and try to invite someone onto this show. It'll be the first time we ever do that. That'll be so cool. Okay, I'm getting the link now. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna post the link in the chat, see what happens. Please don't troll me. I will see who's there first, and not everyone will get on. We'll see what happens. Okay. I'm going to get organized here. I'm going to close down my presentation. If you'd like to ask a question, go ahead, come on that link. If you have a question in the chat, I'm going to start getting to it shortly. Let's clear this off. Oh, we're out of paper. Who can send me some paper? Because we're out. Okay, I don't see anyone taking me up on that. That's fine. I'm not in a rush to make that happen. Let me try and read the chat now. Weird. Oh, Daniel, good to see you. Always like to see you around, my man. Matt Kuchar, good to see you here. Buck Fiden asks, how soon can I put them on my resume? It's only been a month. Currently doing an intern for a vegan startup. Right away. But just remember, you don't need a resume to be a freelancer. You need a portfolio. And so there's no time. You see, resume, it's like, well, how long did you work for them? We don't care how good you are. We want to know how long we can enslave you for. And if you're the type of person who slaves for a long time, you're our kind of person. What's this resume gap all about? What were you doing? I don't love answering questions about resumes. I don't believe the future is getting a job. I believe the future is independence and slavery. There's only one or the other. It's independence or dependence. There's no more jobs in the future. AI is going to take all the grunt jobs. Then it's going to take the middle management jobs. And there's going to be nothing left except super giants based on AI and everyone else fighting for themselves. I know it's hard to believe, and I can't detail it all right now. Let's talk about that on another stream. But ask yourself this. If AGI is coming, can you really bank on any job that exists today? Should you start preparing now? I think so. Question from Dan Lardy. When you get stable clients, do you still work on acquiring leads even if you're at capacity? Abso-freaking-lutely. That's a big one. And it's not so much that you have to go so hard, but you have to do something. And I think in general, we should just say this. When times are bad, focus on sales. When times are good, focus on marketing. Okay, so when you're full, make content. Make content that you're full. Make content about the work you're doing. Find a way to build out your brand just a little bit bigger during that time of good, and you'll have leads ready for you for when times aren't so good. Don't adjust your lifestyle in case you lose someone. You don't want to be caught flat-footed. But absolutely, stimulate leads. And one of the ways we can do that these days is by building in public and sharing what we do. Think about it. If you have a job, why would you ever post that on social media? You wouldn't. When you have a business, everything you do should be on social media. And I'll try to take that advice myself. You know, personally, I have a 7-month-old and a 3.5-year-old. In the last few years, I've been in very intimate moments, you know, and I don't really find it the best time for me to be on social media right now, even though I'm still addicted as everyone else is at most times. I deleted Instagram and TikTok. I only use Twitter right now, and I focus on the community. Okay, so even I have to protect myself from the social demons. Get your questions in the chat. Anybody coming on live? Oh, we got someone. Let's see. I don't see them anymore though. Their video is not live. I'm not bringing you on without a video. Sorry, my man. If you want to come on, you get your video going, okay? What do we got out there, Milosh? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, I know there's a bit of vignette on the right corner, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I think the camera's breaking. I think you're not supposed to use $4,000 Sony a7R2s as your webcam. Crazy, right? Rico TV 8373 asks, as a newbie, literally zero experience, what do you think I should learn first? All right. Well, let's take a look at something here. And Matt, I see you there. I'm going to get to you in a second. Hang in there. Let's just do something really quick, okay, guys? Really quick. I'm going to show you one of the best resources we have inside our community, which you can get today for just $1, by the way. I mean, that offer is probably not going to be around for long. So if you're watching this video later on, there's a chance we don't have that offer anymore. Okay, what I'm going to show you is called the Digital Marketer's Career Roadmap. And we're building this into basically a game, but we're not there yet. But for now, we have something cool, okay? Right. So I'll just quickly overview this for those of you guys who want it. Go get the $1 trial. You can go to join.richinish.com, I think. Can't remember. Go on my website, richinish.com. It's right at the top. Okay, so the career roadmap, it's a Notion file. Before you start, why do you want to do this? Write that down. Go read my books. And here we go. Phase 1, building skill stacks. All right, should we go even bigger here? Boom, no camera even. So we say that the first skill stack you should learn is the funnels and web pages. And that's going to include copywriting, web pages, funnel building. And then with each of these tabs, I give you some tasks that you can do. And that helps you take action. And I have what I call like proof of skill achievement. Like you would know when you know how to build a funnel because you successfully sold like a one-time offer on the back end of an email opt-in, which probably doesn't make sense to some people, but it would if you were learning funnels. All right, so if you're brand new, the first thing you do is pick a skill. And over here, we say try to complete at least 3 of these before moving forward, if not all of them. So do you want to learn funnels, copy, web pages, emails, content, social media? Like which one do you want to learn? Pick it, go learn it, study it, take our courses, ask questions. Okay, and I'll just give you a little bit more preview. Once you've done building out your skill stacks, you want to move to phase 2, which is called Activate the Entrepreneur. And that's talking about those mindsets. How do you improve upon those? I give you some books you can read. And then, of course, setting up your basic business assets like your business domain, host, and website. I do that with people in my lab who want to work as a group to set up their business. And it goes on. There's 6 phases: the apprentice, systematic client acquisition, becoming the master, and uncapped growth. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. I do recommend you go to richinish.com, get the $1 trial, or if I don't have the $1 trial, just join the program for 1 month at least. Okay, so you're going to get that. All right. There we go. Was unable to get that down for a second. And just so you guys know where it is in the academy, can I take 10 seconds to show you around the academy that I've built with my own bare hands? I gotta fix this. Okay, I built out this new thing so that when we get content, it's a little bit nicer in the front and you can click and go watch it directly. In the library where I have templates, that's where you're going to find some of these great resources. And I'm talking about the digital marketing career roadmap. So you can just come in here, click this button, and it will open that right up. We also have some website templates, magnetic marketer routine, swipe files, power words, fun stuff like that. All right. Not going to go into the academy too heavy in this video. We'll save that for another time. Okay, let's see if we can bring someone up on the collab cam. I'm going to go back to Azevedo. I see he's got a camera open. Let's see if we can get this guy talking and up on stream. Let's see if we can make this happen. Azevedo. You hear me, my man?
Yes, I can listen. Yeah.
Wait a second here. I want to just make sure that I feel like people can't hear you. Somebody let me know out there if you can hear him. I'm not sure. Just hold up there a minute. I'm going to put my mic near the speaker. Go ahead and give us your question. Or you're getting some feedback.
Pardon?
Are you hearing me all right?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead. Give us your question and I'll re-say your question afterwards.
Okay. I'm my real problem is with web designing and how to get clients.
All right. Just to make it clean and clear, I'm going to take your question and send you off. You're in web design and you want to get clients. Great. That's a great place. And some of my clients start with web design as well. So I highly recommend, like I was saying, document your process. So instead of building your next 3 websites for clients, go build 3 awesome websites for YouTube. Whether you show your face or not, get in the habit of showing people what you can do. If you're not willing to show people what you can do, how do you expect them to trust you and pay you? If you are running a hair salon, but you refuse to show people any hairs you've ever cut, you're gonna be going in an uphill battle. So what most people don't realize is they haven't even done the obvious marketing elements for themselves. And I think that's more important than we realize. I wasn't huge at all on any platforms when I first started getting my own clients, but I certainly had a couple websites that I could point to that I created. Hopefully you've got a portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio, get your website and portfolio up looking clean. If you want to be in web design, your stuff has to be clean. I mean, the problem is you're up against templates now that look pretty good, and a lot of people can work with that. So try to find an edge. Know your edge. What is your extra edge? A lot of people don't realize that they need an edge. And so they start doing things where they don't even have an edge. Love to hear what others say in the chat about getting clients for web design. Look, getting clients is the #1 question we ask. And I wish it was the easiest thing. One thing you can really do as well is just immerse into more communities, free communities, private communities, whatever you can afford. Let people know you exist. All you have to do is let people know what you can do and what the price is, and you'll start getting it. But here's what you're probably doing. Waiting, doing nothing. You know how to make a website and you keep watching videos on how to make them, but no one's asking you to make them because you're not telling people you can. I highly doubt your website is where it should be. So I'm sending you on a mission. Improve your own marketing, improve your own site, document some work, let people know once a day, go somewhere, go online, go in real person, let people know this offer is available. And see, that's the thing. Once you have a service, the more times you can offer it to people, the more yeses you're going to get. A lot of people stop after they've created a service. they never tell anyone about it because they're afraid to be rejected, which is a common thing for all of us. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go over to Matt K. I really hope this audio is working. I can't see the sources. Oh, it's so annoying. Hey, Matt, good. Can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
How's my audio?
Great.
Right?
I mean, I can hear you well. I don't know if people can hear you well because on my screen, I don't see your audio levels, but hopefully they can see it. Guys in the chat, is he clear? Is it working properly? Anyways, Matt, I'll reiterate your question. What are you thinking about today?
So I don't know if I've asked this before in the past, but when you were first getting started, do you remember doing a lot of, before you had a sufficient amount of clients on a retainer, do you remember doing a lot of, I guess you could call it a downsell, but a lot of like maybe one-time projects or, you know, like a digital marketing on $1,000, $2,000, like one-time projects that are maybe easier / downsell type offers while you were kind of getting yourself to a point where you have like 2 to 4 clients on a high retainer, you know?
Great question. Like the previous, I'm going to send you off just so we can get making sure everything's working right. Thanks, Matt, for the question. Love to have you. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay, let's go back to this. I don't think I have enough RAM on my computer to make this work. Okay. If you guys want to join me for the next question, here's the link in the chat. He asked, did I do a lot of one-off projects? And the answer is yes, but I was just thinking about this actually. With the OPMA model, what I would do instead of say, oh, do you want to do a one-off project? I would say, look, let's say someone wanted a website and your rate is $3,000 a month and you think it's going to take 1 month to do a website. Would you feel bad about saying, hey, why don't you just get a month of my subscription? I'll guarantee that the website is where you like it by the end of the month. But if I'm done in 3 weeks, you can have an extra week. You want to sell the subscription. Even if you're on a single project, you want them thinking, I will be on the subscription because I'm going to like what I'm getting. Like, there's no way you want the opposite of that, right? You want to get them on a subscription. So I think what you should start trying to do is say, look, if you think you can get 2 months, you know, let's do 2 months, right? Commit, you know, and I'll get you the same results. But we are not going to have to do this difficult proposal, contract, terms, yada, yada. I think that that's a little rough, but that's a powerful idea that even though someone doesn't want my subscription, I'm going to show them how my subscription can get them what they want and that they can pause and cancel anytime. I mean, those are my business terms. I don't know if they're your business terms. But I would say, listen, I can't do the one-off projects. I only do my subscription model. But here's how you can use my subscription model to get what you want and more. So, yes, I was doing tons of odd jobs. And in my book, I talk about that it was all odd jobs for the longest time. I hadn't clued in on how to make people stay. It wasn't until I saw both the realization that content was becoming a thing and the need to continuously brand and promote yourself on the internet became a big deal. Because of the competition, you can't say the same thing every day. You have to create new, and you have to learn how to create as times change. That's a great job to have, right? Does a pilot only fly when it's sunny? No. They learn to adapt different conditions. A marketer adapts media under different conditions. Messages, we could say. It's all communication. Okay, so projects, yes. But a cool idea is to start thinking, if I have a subscription ready to go, if I can get them to see the value in that, and it can somehow almost be the same thing, maybe they'll stay on. So it's almost like a trial. So how can your offers really just be 1 month trials of your subscription? That's a brilliant insight I haven't said yet. How can your offers be 1 month trials of your subscription where they still walk away. So what am I thinking of? A new funnel, a new website, content sprint, or an ad campaign, all done within 30 days to showcase how fast and good you are. No commitment whatsoever, but there's an assumption that if you don't say cancel, we're going on to another month. You are subscribing, but because you're a new trial, I will give you something special. It's a specialized, take advantage of my full stack for the first 30 days to knock out your highest impact need. From then on, I become your go-to digital marketer who can handle these 3 core pillar areas: your website, your content, and your ads. We don't say funnels to clients very often, okay? They don't always know what that means. Thanks for that question, Matt, and thanks for coming on. Don't see anyone else out there. I'll put the link in the chat. Looks like it's out there already. You guys can see it. Put out a new one. I feel like there's a new one. Try the new one now. Don't see anyone waiting. Okay, Milos, what do you got for me in the chat? It's Labastida says, I have a lot of questions about the contracts and how they should be written. That's exactly why we created the subscription model, to get rid of contracts, because no one actually wants a contract. People want freedom and flexibility. People say, well, if you're good enough, I'll just stay with you, because my alternative is I have to start all over again. I'll answer your question in a moment, but I just signed a new $5,000 a month client, my second OPMA client in 2.5 months, since I got back after having my 2 kids, which I've been kind of on a chill mode for a while. I'm pretty back into it these days, but no contract. Closed within 48 hours with a basic Keynote slide deck. All it said was $5,000 a month, unlimited requests, single track, one focus at a time. It's very simple, and I'll release that eventually to my members, of course. That stuff's pretty private, but we give our members a lot of my insider information, tools, templates. So we came up with this new model that's subscription based, that you can just cancel anytime, but you pay up front. So you don't need a contract. Some projects should have a contract because they're long. And so if you can convince your client to use a subscription model and that you're going to get to everything in good time, that's great. Some clients are going to say, I just don't believe you. And I think at month 4, 5, and 6, you're not going to be doing anything. And I bet that happens too. That could happen to anyone. But the client should just pause or cancel if that's the case. It should be no hard feelings, because a lot of businesses do seasonal marketing as well. They don't need you year round. They can still be your client. But if you have a contract, that's something that isn't overly complicated. It should say the goal of the project and exactly what you're going to do, how long it takes, and how much it costs. As far as like the extra contract terms and legalese, like go to like Panda Docs or something like that. They have a bunch of templates inside. Then run it through ChatGPT and say, does this look like a good contract? I'll tell you, I never once had a contractual issue. Nothing ever serious. Nothing. Maybe once a client was like, oh, did we get this? And I explained to them why they got it. They didn't realize they had it. We had a slight disagreement on what it means to be optimized, I guess. So I'm not going to worry about too much about contracts. I don't see that as the future to be working that way. But certainly some people are going to be doing that. But I think what you have to understand is that when you're a freelancer, you're the business. People kind of get that. They're working directly with you, right? When you're like a scalable agency, there's a disconnect between the owner, the sales, and the client and the delivery team. And so it's easy to lack trust there. And I think because the freelancer only needs a few clients, they should be more thoughtful about how do I spend the most time with my clients so I can receive the most money and spend the least time doing things that brings no one value. Not to say a contract doesn't bring value. I mean, technically it doesn't. It only provides guidance around issue, problems, things that come up. But yeah, contracts isn't something we really want to spend a lot of time with as a freelancer because we're not a big business. We're one person. So we want to really limit those things. And I think what's so exciting is that I've found a vehicle where you truly can do that. And I've been doing that. I told all of my clients, cancel anytime. I do not want to work for you if you don't want me to work for you. Simple as that. Because when you're in your ikigai, that's not going to be a part of that, right? Being in a happy, positive state is more likely to be important to you than to work with people you don't like, who don't want to work with you, who are crying about what they're getting. Just send them off. Simple as. Well, not seeing a lot more questions. So that means it's time to wrap up this free course on how to become a freelance digital marketer. Look, if you got questions, I will answer them. I will stick around a little bit more. But let's not beat the horse to death, you know? Let's get going. Let's take action. What should you do after you log off on this stream? Well, it's Saturday. It means you should have some free time. Probably you can just binge watch Richin Niche for 2 weeks. Go get your $1 trial. Watch a couple masterclasses. Watch a couple replays. Read some threads and conversations in our community. Start thinking about digital marketing more. You know, they like to say, what you think about, you become. You become what you think about. Most of the time, not just a little bit, most of the time. So whatever you think about most of the time, you're very likely to become that. So why not start thinking about online business, digital marketing, content creation all the time? Why not get addicted to a game where you can get paid? Why not join an industry where being lazy is an advantage? That's tongue in cheek. You don't want to be ultimately lazy. You want to have the mind of a lazy person who says, I will make this better than ever and I will save more time than ever. We're in the automation phase, my friends. AI is merely a form of automation. It's when things are done for us automatically. And if we can figure out how to build a business and we can automate 50% of it, we're in a completely different situation than our grandparents could have ever been. They had to call their customers on the phone or send them a piece of mail. And you're complaining to me that you can't make this work? No. You absolutely can make this work. It's that you won't sacrifice your other addictions that you feel are so important to you. And sometimes we don't realize our addictions, what they are. It's not just drugs, alcohol, food. There's so many others, and not just pornography, gaming, etc. There's subtle ones. It's very subtle addictions in life. Addiction to drama, addicted to emotions, addicted to justice. You spend all your time wandering around in life. You're not doing anything really. So, is there any more questions? Only B6854 says, so what's the difference between starting a social media marketing agency and being a freelance digital marketer? Well, social media is a sliver of what a freelance digital marketer is capable of. As I was suggesting with the 3 pillars, social media would really only fall into one of the 3 pillars. So that's the obvious difference. The freelancer is like the house builder. The social media agency only knows how to lay tiles. Nothing wrong with either. Social media agency has lower profits and they need more clients, and they're in a very competitive world. because the barrier to create social media content is very low. So a lot of people pay for social media services that are not very valuable. They don't actually bring the desired outcome that people want. And that's because, as I've taught many times, content is not the full picture. Awareness is not the full picture. Traffic is not the full picture. So it's when someone connects social media with a vehicle that can start a transaction, like a funnel, now you've got something that can bring immense value with even little bits of traffic. You can have all the traffic in the world. Doesn't mean if you don't know how to monetize it, no big deal, right? Think about the Disneyland parking lot. You ever been there? Huge, right? I think it's free. The second you walk through that gate, that traffic is monetized in every which way. But the LA freeway, no one's monetizing that. A couple billboards maybe, but everyone goes Disneyland and all that traffic gets monetized by professionals. They give people what they want. They help them fulfill their fantasies, desires, memories, experiences they want. Okay? Traffic alone is just traffic. That's why viral videos aren't that valuable, because they're rarely connected to a transactional vehicle. That's because people don't want transactional vehicles as a default. And that should tell you that if you're going to use a transactional vehicle, it's not about getting the most traffic, it's about getting the right traffic at the right time. So the freelance marketer understands how customers exist in and outside of social media. There's many more formats than just social media. Now, I think the term social media marketing agency should have broadened by now. There's a lot to it. People should have started saying by now, Facebook marketing agency, LinkedIn marketing agency. There's no good agency who just puts it all to all the platforms at the same time. I wouldn't want an agency like that. So that's the main difference that I can think of. When my client asked me, am I going to help him with social media? I said, yeah, but you really don't want me doing social media. That's a much lower job than what I'm capable of doing. What you want me to do is set the guidelines for your social media team and instruct them on the most optimal way to take that message and put it through the chosen social media platform. Something like that. Thank you for your question. Jasmine asks, how do you stay accountable in continuing to create when clients are few and far apart in the beginning? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by continuing to create. Maybe we're referencing something else I said, but I think like you have to ultimately look at your alternatives, because you're asking about accountability. And so for me, it's very easy to know why I would be accountable to something, because the alternative sounds so painful. See, a lot of times in life, we just can't make the change because there's not enough pain stimulating it. And so they like to say that when the pain is greater than what it feels like to not change, you will then change. Accountability is a difficult thing. And I think what's worked well for me is changing the environment. So if you have trouble making content, book some time where you're not at home and go out and try and do it and say, I'm here to do this thing, and that's it. And then I'm going to leave. I think it's tough when we try and weave all the different things we do here and there, and we're at home all the time. So for almost 5 months straight, I've been going to Starbucks every single day before 7 a.m. And a lot of times I'm there when the door opens at 6 a.m. And I'm the only person there working hard from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. After 8 or 9, a couple people come in with a laptop here and there. Most people are just watching TikTok. So I'm choosing to leave my house so I can go to a place where I don't feel like I'm going to fall prey to all the enjoyable distractions that life offers. For me, that's primarily gaming, you know, like I'd rather spend a lot of my time chasing higher scores, you know, like that's just where my life is, you know, it's like mastery and achievement. And so my game for me is to try and say, let me play digital marketing. That's the game I'm going to be addicted to. And I'm not going to play World of Warcraft, you know, 8 hours a day like I used to. You know, I played a lot. But that didn't sustain. That eventually was coming to an end. And I think a lot of people who are in that spot know that. And they're fighting this little thing where they're on a bridge and it's like, how much longer can I stay on this rocky bridge until I truly have to cross over? I'm totally like that. I love to milk things until I have to like get there. It's like, let me get the most out of this. I'll do it when I get there. And yeah, I think we all fight that. So accountability, go somewhere else and attach other people. Just tell someone, look, I struggle with this. Can we meet every week for 3 hours and just do this together? Because you're doing that too. And that's why some people pay for coaches, is because there's just no one who will do that with them. No one who will care enough, right? Tough question. Each person got to dig deep on that accountability stuff, right? I'm just going to put the video chat in. If anyone wants to come on screen and say their question, just want to get a little bit more experience with this. Azevedo says, do you think it is worth learning web design even with these AI? Absolutely is my obvious answer. I'm just trying to think of devil's advocate. You know, I haven't even thought about touching those like AI web design. I have no interest in that. It's not going to be good enough. Not yet. Ask me again in 2 years. I might have a different answer, but I do think it's worth it. I don't think a business can just let AI make their marketing materials. I think it's great to use AI for low pressure situations. Like even my presentation earlier, it's not my marketing materials. If I just grab a little AI image and put it on the side for context, it's great. But as my marketing materials, I've discovered you have to be careful. I think that you don't want to just rely on it at all yet for that stuff. Will that change? It might. But I actually think that there's much more to it than just training AI on what other websites look like. I think that marketing has an element of trendiness to it, and you will always want to stay ahead. And AI will always be reflective of what's behind because it's based on previous data. Can an AI make a prediction? Yes. But can an AI behave in such a way that it creates trends? I think with AGI it could, but I don't think that will be the commonplace. I believe the humans and their behavior will drive the marketing tactics because they're the ones that are spending. If an AI has to be convinced to spend some money, let's say I have an agent and my agent's allowed to spend up to $100 a day to solve my problems, yeah, that'll be interesting. I do see one day where AI is operating on its own and there are these like gateways online it goes through to pick up extra information and data. And I could see those almost like toll booths and they get charged. So I can see a future where AIs pay for things. Don't write that off yet. Look, you are so much further ahead than you realize. AI is far away still. If you think that every business is just going to flip an AI switch next year, you're so misunderstood of what's going on because you're in the bubble of Twitter and YouTube. And because these trends have arisen, the people like myself, the experts, the serious people in the industry, They want to know what the cutting edge is because there's money to be made there. But that's not where a lot of the money is made. A lot of money is made on what's tried and true and working well. New stuff is not where people flood their money in, okay? And websites require updates. Websites require changes. At some point, you will be like, should I spend 3 hours writing the perfect prompt, or should I just go make it myself? Because the AI does not know what you want on your website. And if you rely on AI, how are you going to fix your website? How are you going to change it? How are you going to know how things were built? Or you're just, the AI will maintain it. Sure, maybe. You're quite far off. Even someone claims we're in the singularity. The technology singularity is not reflective of the adoption curve. And I have no paper left. I was going to go write something. The technology singularity is exponential, and it's already at an asymptote state. The adoption curve is an S, right? And you're still in the bottom S, okay? Then it goes up, and then it flattens out again. It takes a long time for the last group of people to finally get in. So no, you're not thinking correctly. You're letting fear be an easy excuse, or you're letting an idea that may be a problem defeat you from something where there are people so much dumber than you making 10 times more than you because you think of this one question. Literally thinking that question is preventing you from success. I'm sorry, Azevedo. You need to ask a much different question. What's the next thing I need to do to make $1,000 tomorrow? That's what you should be asking me. You shouldn't be asking me if one little thing is going to be replaced by AI. Yes, in a far enough path, everything will be changed. We won't even use the internet as it is. It'll be shifted in some way. But if you're asking questions that already presume defeat, you're actually internalizing that probably. And so you're not going to take action because you're going to suspect it's all for a waste. Doesn't matter. If you market from 2020 to 2029 and do the best you can with websites, and then in 2030, websites become AI only, do you think they're going to hire people who say, oh yeah, I just learned AI websites this year? Or are they going to hire someone who says, I have 10 years experience in website development and I also know how to deploy AI with it? Do you follow me? Wow, 2 hours. Sorry, Milos, I don't think this stream was full of clips, but I do think this was a good stream. And I do think that if you watch the entire thing, you are changed, you are moved, and you are ready for the next steps. So go to richinish.com, join our membership, because you don't want to go alone. You really don't. There's no point. Not anymore. There's too many people who are already solving the problems that you want to solve. You go into our Discord, you can get any question answered at any time of the day from any skill level that you need. You're going to have someone like myself providing you new monthly updates of what the most modern knowledge and skills are for the freelance marketer, the one-person marketing agency. Our idea is we teach you how to do a service and that you could sell it the next day. We want you to be building a stronger digital marketing menu with many items so that your clients can choose you and only you, and they don't need any more people. And even if you don't want to learn something, that you could then come into our network and community and rely on somebody else to provide that, where you could earn still a percentage of what you brought in, but still serve the client. Someone out there is going to make an entire business or they only hire our members and they never do anything. They only understood the business vehicle. Somebody's going to do that. I don't know who. Okay? Looks like we're coming to an end. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like this video. If it gave you some value, it'll reach more people. Have you subscribed to this channel? And more importantly, turn on notifications. We're putting out way more videos, but not too many to annoy you. But that way you're not going to miss anything, because it's very hard to reach everybody with every video these days. Turning on notifications will make sure you're getting the info that you really want. Okay? Because there's getting a lot out there that you don't need, and it's merely distracting you, preventing you from reaching your goals, your desired outcome, building your legacy for your family. So I hope you do consider joining me and the rest of the Richin community. And if not, we love having you here on our live streams. Our YouTube community is strong. Can't wait to hear your comments in this video and others. But I'm going to let you go. So, take action. No more questions for today. I'll have to get you guys next time. You had lots of time. I'm off for the rest of my Saturday. Take care, everyone.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And may the algorithms be ever in your favor.